Welcome to Awesome Antiracism. And today we are on the letter I for ABCs of Antiracism. And for I, the word is inheritance. And it's about inheritance of land, ideas, and lack of inheritance. Now, the inheritance of land comes in the practice of land acknowledgement, which has been going on, I don't know for how long, but it's when you acknowledge the people whose land you're on now. Particularly here in the United States, it's Native Americans, indigenous people's lands. So I live in Homer, Alaska, which was once the home of the Dena'ina people, who are different groups of people. And in Alaska, it's interesting because the groups of people are very mixed. But this land acknowledgement brings to my mind a different feeling because I've been totally removed from my land of origin. That is my African heritage. And I don't know what the rest of my heritage is, and I really want to find out to see what genetic influences I have historically. Genetically, I'm African, Jamaican, Caribbean, and what European heritage do I have? But the bottom line is there's definitely African in my blood, my hair, my nose, my mother. Now there is the Native American land acknowledgement, which really is just a verbal land acknowledgement. It's not giving people back their land or rights to their land or resolving still disputes that exist among the native indigenous people of this country. As for black people, we never got our inheritance. We're still waiting for our inheritance for putting this country as the leading economic and military power in the world still. Because of a good 200, almost 400 years of free labor. And still managing to remain on top with the low-paid labor of black, brown, and other colored peoples in this country. So our inheritance, that 40 acres and a mule, we never got our inheritance. And there's no catching up with wealth. So inheritance is a deep and long discussion, which we hasn't really been resolved in any way because we're still trying to get decent wages for the work that Americans are doing now. Largely black Americans. I'll tell you this story. I live in a predominantly white, 99.9% white town. And in the 7 years I've been here, and the places I've worked, which has been the hospital, a clinic, and the school system, and for the past year in assisted living with 5 women. And this is the only place in which I have worked with other black women. But we don't work at the same time because we are the 3 black women who are on the night shift. And we are taking care of people who have been people's mothers and wives. And now we are taking care of them. Black women, taking care of these olds, and some of them not so much abandoned. One family's all gone. But we are getting paid much less than the proposed new minimum wage, but more than the $7.50 some people get paid, which is not a livable wage. In fact, one of the young women, and she was not black, she was white. She quit the job simply because she wasn't paying her bills as hard as she was working. So, inheritance. Since there's no way that many people who have never, black, white, green, whatever your color, if you don't come from money for a few generations, you can work, and we work so hard. But let's look at making opportunity available. Let's look at how we frame and shape business. And remember, business is just a purposeful activity. So there's many purposeful activities we could be engaged in which people can get what they need. But of course, I start approaching the far ends of what people say is not possible with economics. And I'm not an economic person, obviously not. But inheritance is a good word to think about when you're talking about anti-racism. Because, I mean, if people really want to start sharing their wealth, you can do that. And some people have done that with giving of their inheritance to black institutions, or even black individuals, or brown, or Asian people who can benefit. So that's the talk about inheritance for today. And remember to breathe deeply, smile, and be grateful. And I remain your associate, creating compassionate community.